What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Route Runners podcast. My name's Jared. That wasn't right.
That's fine. I'm James, and I food my mouth.
I'm Jason, and wait, I have water in my mouth.
There we go.
I have a pencil in my hand now, but this is going to be round 7 of the Ultimate Redraft. We're going to be taking a 2-week break. I think a 2-week break from the redraft after this one because James is going on vacation. Like I said last week, Shrieker will be back, and me, him, and Jason will be going over. I haven't really 100% decided yet, or I guess we haven't really decided yet. We're thinking maybe either do something about fantasy. We can, maybe give a little bit of insight on that, or we can just start with the division previews. I know Shrieker and I are having an argument about a specific team in one of the Eastern divisions a few days ago, so we can definitely talk about that. But again, maybe fantasy. I don't really know 100%, but we're still going with the redraft round 7. We'll probably do I'd say one or two more after this one. Obviously, we'll see how many players me, Jason, and James can all think of. But we had some pretty good amount of news this week. One of them being Rob Gronkowski officially retiring. Now, this is not the first time that this has happened. A few years ago, he was traded to the Lions. He found out about that and then retired before that could
I mentioned that in last episode.
Yeah, you did.
I mentioned that last episode.
Yeah, Gronk is out. Apparently he may come back, but one of the best tight ends ever. Officially.
Well, he retired twice.
Twice before this.
Yeah, because he retired when Tom Brady left the Patriots.
Well, yeah, that was the first time. Or was there another time too?
Wait, you said the Lions thing.
Yeah, I think that
Oh, is that like all the same thing?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that one of the best tight ends to ever do it. Maybe the best. Some people say the best red zone threat of all time. Officially, for now, not playing football.
For now. I think he'll be back. I don't know. There's already stuff on Twitter of like Tom Brady like tweeting stuff about like him coming back, and Rob said he'd come back in the season if Tom called him, and like why wouldn't Tom call him? Like,
so Gronk's being a baby and wanting attention is what I'm hearing.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, we saw it with Brady. We saw it with Gronk already before. I mean, I would definitely not be surprised if like they're not really getting a whole lot of production from Cameron Brate, who's going to be the other tight end on this team, and they give Gronk a call and he comes back for maybe like 4 or 5 games before the playoffs or something like that. It really wouldn't surprise me too much. So I can't take this news as like I would with anyone else. I guess anyone else like of that caliber, I guess I would say. But I feel like even if he did come back, he'd still be really good. Like in the first like 4 weeks of the season 3 weeks of the season last year, Gronk was like leading the league in touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
because he is Gronk.
Yeah, I think he had 2 each in the first 2 games. So, but yeah, if it is truly the end, great career for Gronk, and Tom Brady will for sure miss him. And I think that if he is officially done, it's for sure the end of Brady's career probably after this year, because I feel like he's not going to want to really go that much longer without him.
Yeah, I could see that, but like I don't know. It's also Tom Brady. He could just like play 5 more years if he really wanted to.
Yeah, he also had a lot more seasons. He played a lot more seasons without Gronk also. So like
That's true. Yeah.
Matter. Another great player in our league. I wouldn't say as highly touted as Gronk's career yet, but Minkah Fitzpatrick got extended. I don't remember the exact details, but I believe he's now the highest paid safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I mean, this was an easy move. I think he's probably the best. Him or Derwin James are the 2 best safeties in the league. And Minkah's been, I would say, a lot more.
He's
durable.
played for. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I call.
that's good for Minka Fitzpatrick. And a big one.
Oh,
What
the Minka deal was 4 years, 73.6 mil. There you go.
Okay, so that's a lot of money, but I think well deserved. I think everyone probably agrees with that. Deshaun Watson, big news, came out yesterday. So he's got 24 cases against him, all with bad stuff, and 20 of the 24 cases were settled on. And what that means is that, I mean, I'm not at all a law expert or anything like that, but that means he's probably guilty, because if he's not taking them to trial, that means that he settled on it and is basically paying them to,
Shut up.
yeah, pretty much. So I don't know what's going on with the other 4 cases. Maybe they believe in what they're trying to fight for.
They probably
more
didn't
than-
take his offer to.
Yeah, or
his
maybe,
offer.
maybe, yeah, it could have been a low offer or something, but I don't know what that means for now, because Roger Goodell has been pretty inconsistent with his players and when they have cases like this against them. I mean, 24 cases is a lot. It's good that at least he figured out what's going on with 20 of them. I mean, whether he's guilty or not, I don't know. He's going to be a huge impact player for Cleveland if he ends up playing. And if not, I think if he plays, they can legit like go to the AFC Championship or something. I think that they could win that loaded division. And if he doesn't, and it's Baker Mayfield, which we don't even know if Baker would play for them at this point, it I don't know. I don't think that I'd pick them to win more than 8 games.
Oh, another reason why they could have been settled is maybe to play devil's advocate here. Maybe the cases knew that Deshaun was not guilty, so they just wanted to get money out of him.
Also, could be.
It's probably not the reason, but just saying, like, they could have just asked him for money to kind of just settle the case.
Yeah, but like they
Not
could have just done that at the
about it.
beginning and just avoided more.
Yeah, I know. But
Yeah.
maybe they were just in contract agreements, so they just wanted more money out of him.
See, if I was a
But
betting
the fact,
man,
how did 20 of them get settled? Like, was it just all at once, or like was
Yeah,
it over the course of?
it kind of seemed like that, which makes it kind of shady.
Yeah,
if I was a betting man, which I am, I would bet the Browns under, because I don't see a way Deshaun Watson plays this year, and Baker might just be like, "Fuck you guys, you want Deshaun not play." Even if he does play, like, I don't know. I don't think the Browns will be that good, because like
I mean,
I saw TikTok too. It was like, it was Arian Foster. He was like, they were talking about Deshaun Watson on a podcast. And he was like,
Oh, I saw this.
yeah, it was like, well, I had like, he said he had 3 masseuses in his career. Like he'd stay consistent. So like, why would you have 24 different ones? And he's
maybe he's
hasn't been in the
never
league.
satisfied.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Like at the beginning, I was kind of honest. I'm like, all right, 24 come forward like now, like at the same time, it's kind of weird, but like,
That's why I'm
I don't know.
thinking.
The fact he has to like pay them all off just like seems shady, and like, I don't know. It's tough to tell.
Yeah, that's why I'm thinking they just wanted money from him, because they all just came out of nowhere and all got settled. But I don't know.
It's
The-
definitely
and-
possible.
Until all the details.
It happens a lot
revealed,
nowadays, which
yeah.
is sad, but
Yeah.
you never know. I don't know.
I mean, I know for myself, I mean, if he's guilty, which I honestly have no idea, because
At this point, we have no idea.
Yeah.
but like, it may sound a little selfish, but I want him to play because
Oh, I do
he's
too.
one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and I think it just makes it. I mean, the AFC is already so stacked. Why not add another team in there that could really contend? He's just fun to watch. He would make that team so much better than it. I think it kind of already is, and I don't know. I want to see him play. We already had a year without him.
We'd also get
So-
Deshaun versus Burrow and Lamar versus Deshaun to that technically 4 weeks. So
Yeah, like that's just like Goodell has done this before with like guys like Zeke and Kareem Hunt, like that have issues like this. They have come back fairly quickly, and I feel like with Deshaun Watson, it matters for Goodell even more, because Deshaun Watson's selling more tickets and making people happier to watch football than I think Zeke Elliott or Kareem Hunt ever have been. So
Oh, if he's found guilty in any one of those cases, he's getting suspended for a long time. So
yeah, but
that's the
which
problem.
we'll see. I mean, I believe 4 of them should be solved by the time like fantasy drafts roll around, so everyone should be good off that, but who really knows? But anyway, in more lighthearted news, um, I saw probably one of the funniest things in terms of like confident players' confidence maybe ever. On a it was a podcast or another show. I don't know what it was, but it was with LaShawn McCoy and Brandon Marshall, and Chase Claypool was a guest and claimed himself to be a top 3 receiver in the league. I don't really know who he's kidding, but I know that he had 2 touchdowns last year and he played in most of the games. So I don't really, I love like having confidence is great, but he's not a top 3 receiver.
Just take it from our draft. If he was top 3, he would have been gone by the second round, and he's still not drafted. So there you go.
He's not drafted and he's not on my list. And there's a good 5 receivers that I have over him.
I will say in his defense, like, well, like you said, like,
There's no way to defend
everyone's
top
gonna
three.
have confidence in himself. So, like, I don't know why wouldn't he say he's the top 3 receiver? But like, I mean, nobody really believes it, but like, he's a deep threat receiver, and he's had Big Ben in his QB. So like, it just
But he's
doesn't
not going to be much better under
pair
Pickett,
well.
if I'm being honest.
Okay, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like he could be a similar player to DK, and obviously he's not. Nobody thinks he's a top 3 receiver, but like, I think he could be better than we think he is right now. That's all I'll say.
I mean, maybe
I mean,
like down
for
the road he
sure.
could be top 3, but not anywhere near. In the
Well,
near
yeah, no, I
future.
don't think he's anywhere near top 3, and I don't even think he'll get there. But like, I'm just
I mean,
saying, like,
it would
I
kind
think
of
he'll be better than he is right, or like, not than he is right now, but like than we think he is.
I mean, no one expected Cooper Cup to be top 3 coming into this like last year. Like if he said he was a top 3
And he had a
receiver,
huge QB upgrade.
no one would have believed him, and now he's I don't know. Exactly.
I don't know. I'm just like the fact that JJ Watt had more receiving touchdowns one year than this kind of just tells me all I need to know. I mean,
There's probably still more
is
than Julio Jones too.
I was just gonna say that
Yeah.
he had more than Julio Jones.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, well, that's just always been a problem, but we all know Julio's established. Like this, I don't know. But I like how
we
when
give Chase Claypool a good QB, he will be much better than we think.
yeah, but like you can say that, but then also like has Terry McLaurin never really had a good quarterback, or has like DeAndre Hopkins in the first like 5 years of his career had nothing, and he was a top 3 receiver. You can kind of argue the same with the start of Odell's career. Odell was probably considered a top 10 receiver, or was considered a top 10 receiver after his rookie season or 2 years,
Oh,
whatever.
Yeah, but then we can't really say Cooper Kupp's a top 3 receiver.
What do you mean?
Because he was like,
because he wasn't that
receiver
great with
off,
Duff.
but like,
Yeah.
but like it could also be the system. I feel like there's a lot that goes into it. So
I mean, I feel like
it helped
I
for
just-
Hopkins. Like obviously Hopkins is like, he's definitely much better than Claypool. He's like a top receiver in the league, but like he was the only target there, so they're only going to throw to him. Terry
That's
McLaurin,
fair.
he's like the only target in Washington too, so they're only going to throw to him.
That's fair. I mean, I don't know. I know
The Steelers
I'm
have
not.
Najee, like Deontay.
It's
know.
not a good offense. Yeah.
Yeah, it's different. I feel like I'm not trying to argue like he's really
Yeah.
good now and
I
we're
don't-
stupid, but I think he could be better, or like in the future.
Yes, there are better
Yeah,
days.
definitely could be. I love like how the comments like all across social media were saying like he's maybe not even a top 3 receiver on his team.
I mean,
I-
yeah, no one would celebrate a first down with the game on the line.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, I do have him to thank for that. Give the Vikings a win this year, but
that is
Um, all right. So we ready to start? I believe that's all the news that happened this week.
yeah.
Okay.
yes.
So it is now time to not draft Chase Claypool. I'm just kidding. Well, I'm not really
It
kidding.
could.
Oh, I have
No,
to.
it's getting to that range where he probably could be drafted.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So James is up with Jacksonville.
Oh, yeah.
Everything should be updated on this as well. Yeah, we're good.
Okay. Well, looking at this team, they have the only secondary they have is Justin Simmons. So I'm gonna give him another secondary guy, and gonna give him a cornerback because they probably need one. And again, I didn't do my research, so he may be good or bad, but Adoree Jackson,
He had a very good season last year.
yes, he did. And he's been decent, I can say. I don't know. Like PFF has him as basically on the cusp of elite, which I believe, and getting him in the 7th round as your cornerback one is not bad, not bad value at all. So why not take a shot at him as your only cornerback so far?
All right.
Adoree Jackson.
Lions. So before we started this, I actually found a lot more players that I really like. And I'm gonna start out with this is actually a guy I've had here for a while. I was considering him for a while, but I think now is the right time to take him. I think he's very underrated, and he helped turn a very bad defense into a pretty good defense last year. He's one of the most underrated run stoppers in the league, in my opinion, and that is DJ Reader. He helped lead the Bengals defense last year. I mean, the defense obviously wasn't their strong point, or it was still good, but like their offense is obviously better, but they had a good run defense last year, and I think he is a huge part of it. He's always been underrated because he was on the Texans before, so like no good players really get that much recognition there just because as a whole they've always been bad. But yeah, I think DJ Reader is very underrated.
All right. Well, this pick is definitely going to be a lot different than the first two because if you are just a casual football fan, you may not know Adoree Jackson or DJ Reader, and you will know who I'm going with, and that is Teddy Bridgewater.
I do know who Teddy Bridgewater is.
Huh. Wow.
I didn't spell water right, which is a problem. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there aren't really a whole lot of quarterbacks left. I mean, the only other two I had written down, I mean, I'm not going to take any more quarterbacks, so I guess I could just say it, was Sam Darnold, who I think at this point, he's not in a terrible situation in Carolina, and they are one of the worst teams in the league, and that he's a reason for it. And the other one was Gardner Minshew, who would have been maybe okay with Bridgewater, but I just like the fact that Bridgewater is a vet for this offense that's really not very good because it only has Javonte Williams and Brandon Scherf. So get a veteran guy that could hand it off to a running back, and hopefully that can be it.
Did Kirk Cousins get drafted? Oh no, yes, he did, of course.
Yeah.
I would have drafted him way before freaking whoever I drafted in the last round. All right. The Jettisons. They don't have any linebackers, I don't think, and their only pass rusher is Montez Sweat. So I'm gonna give him a linebacker who's good in coverage too, and can also rush. And Jason's gonna like this guy. It's Shaq Thompson. And the reason Jason likes this guy is because he played baseball in the Red Sox organization.
He did.
Yes, he
I did
did.
not
I
know
believe
that.
he went 0 for 31.
Well, there you go, Shaq Thompson.
Wow.
I want to look that up.
He played baseball, not on the Red Sox, but for their organization. And so
Interesting.
now the Jets have him. Isn't that a fun thing? Fun fact of the day: Shaq Thompson played baseball.
Sorry, I'm trying to find his stats. All right, I'll find it after I do this pick.
I can check him if you want.
Okay. So Giants. I think I'm gonna stick with defense here. I'm probably gonna be on the defensive side of the ball most of the time today, just because there are a lot of good defensive players that I found that I'm pretty excited to take. First one I'm gonna take is going to be a linebacker who hasn't really been on a good team his whole career, and now he's going to be on a great defense. I think he's going to be a huge piece for them. Or where did he play last year?
All I'm saying is Shaq Thompson was probably the worst baseball player I've ever looked up stats for.
What were his
So bad.
stats?
All right, so he was drafted in the 18th round. He out of 40, he had 39 at bats, 0 hits. He has a stolen base though,
Oh, okay.
but he 0 for 39. Guess how many?
Oh,
of
he did
those
have 3 runs. He had an RBI.
yeah,
Wow.
Guess how many of those at bats were strikeouts out of 39 at bats?
That is a lot.
Yep, it's
I'll let Jared
37. Oh, never mind. out of 39 at bats, he struck out 37 times.
That's
Meaning only 2 times he got on base.
Well,
I didn't
can
even
see
know
why
he
it didn't
played
last
baseball.
very long.
Well, no, that doesn't mean 2 times because he could have hit sack flies and crap. But still, 37 strikeouts and 39 at bats.
I mean,
didn't
he
even know
was,
he played baseball.
there for like 9 months. Yeah. Wow. I mean,
Oh, there you go.
good for him.
Go
Don't know
Shaq.
how, but
37 strikeouts and 39 at bats.
wow.
He ended his career with a 0 batting average. Fantastic.
Okay, well, good for Shaq Thompson on an MLB career. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
there you
say
go.
good one, but I'm
More
gonna
than
take another
Carson Wentz has played,
linebacker.
so.
I'm not sure if he played baseball, but if he did, he'd probably be a little better. But this is not. I'm not drafting him based on his baseball talent. I'm drafting him based on how good he is at playing middle linebacker. That is Miles Jack.
I like him.
Oh, I forgot he's.
He does exist.
All right. So Carolina, I think this has been one of my better teams that have drafted as long as Deshaun plays, which I mean, with this, if he gets suspended a year, so be it. I'm not going to draft a backup quarterback just in case. We can, at this point, it's just a waste of a draft pick. So I'm going to go a little young on the defensive side, and I'm going to go with a guy that I think, he got drafted this year. He's a rookie. I think he's pretty safe. And I think that, he was a number 2 overall pick. So to get him this late, if he ends up being really good, I think it could end up being a steal. It could be a risky pick, but I'm going with Aiden Hutchinson. The fact that I picked Kayvon Thibodeau in the 4th and Aiden Hutchinson fell all the way to the 7th round does not make me feel very good about the Thibodeau pick, but I think this one, in terms of value, makes a lot more sense. And I think that he, I don't think he has a huge ceiling, but I think he has a pretty high floor. Like, I think that he can be a pretty solid pass rusher in the league.
All right, so Joey B on the Bengals. I've drafted Noah line help for him, so I'm gonna get him that. This one maybe a little controversial just because he's always been injured and hasn't really proven himself to be anything special. But I believe he is 6'7", so I can't pass up on that. And it's Kai Becton. Just because he's tall.
Jared and I were talking about him the other day.
Oh, were you saying how he sucks?
No, I had him and I took him off like a few days ago, but I had him since like round 3.
Oh.
I don't know.
I think he's tall and he's a big boy. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
if he's healthy, then I think he can be really good.
Yeah, I do too. It's just I don't know. I just kind of like the other lineman that I had, so I figured I'd just give him to someone else. So
well, I think in Madden he has superstar dev, so or last year he did, so it's what I'm playing for here.
Fair enough.
We gotta start thinking about Madden now.
I believe he had superstar dev last year.
I will never think about Madden, so don't worry about that.
I have not touched Madden in probably 7 centuries. So
when I went on to do the roster, that was the first time I did in a while, besides playing Jared that one time.
Did we talk about that when we were recording last time?
I think so. Did we? Yeah.
Well,
no, it was in the beginning, I think.
Well, in case
Well,
we
if it
didn't,
wasn't, we sound like idiots now because
probably, but I don't really care. In case we didn't, I pushed Jason to overtime, which is a win in itself. That's pretty much all everyone needs to know.
You know what? We'll be back.
No, we won't because we're probably
Actually, yeah, we're not going to play that game again. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
I usually play it when like it's football season because then I'm in the mood to actually touch a football game. But even
Yeah,
so, I
fair
don't know.
enough.
Want to know? Yeah.
All right, Falcons. Once again, I'm gonna stay on the defensive side of the ball, and I already have Max Crosby as an edge rusher, and I'm gonna give him someone on the other side who I didn't even realize how good he was until I looked maybe it was like a week or two ago. He was a rookie last year. Jared knows who I'm talking about now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't start in many games, yet he had 8.5 sacks. He got drafted late in the first round. And that is Jalen Phillips.
Ooh.
I think I'm spelling that right. Yeah, I think he's very underrated. Even going into the draft, like I liked him coming out of college. He's a very athletic guy. He never really put it together in college too much, but I think he's just maybe the NFL coaching is definitely helping, but 8.5 sacks in your first year when you're not even starting half the games is very impressive.
Indeed. All right. I'm going to go with this Broncos team. We already have a cornerback one with Marlon Humphrey, but I'm going to add on to that. We're going to go. So this team will have 4 defensive players. Bless you. I'm going to go with a guy that he's only played 2 seasons, but I think he's had a very underrated start to his career. I think he's actually pretty good. We're going to go with Jalen Johnson from the Bears. Just, get a really young corner. And I kind of wanted him on the Vikings when during the 2020 draft. It was like either him or Jeff Gladney that, like, if we were to draft a cornerback, I would have been happy with it. I was happy with the receiver we drafted in Justin Jefferson. Not happy with the cornerback we drafted because one of them got kicked out of the league and is not alive anymore, and the other one is one of the better young corners in the league, Jalen Johnson. So him and what's his name, Marlon Humphrey, on opposing sides of each other should be pretty good to lock down opposing receivers.
Sure. Okay, so my Seahawks team is literally just run the ball, just to rub it in Pete Carroll's face again. And this is kind of like the Lions last year, where it's basically just a screw around team. And if we get a win, then it's all good and dandy. So to add to my screw aroundiness, I need someone who is a known runner. There's gonna be an offense. He's a known scrambler, and his only use is for scrambling. And I know Jared. This is probably Jared's 5th favorite player of all time, and it's Taysom Hill.
Oh wow!
Wait, who did they have a QB yet?
Yeah, it's Mariota.
Oh, you took Mariota last round. That's right.
Yeah. But now they have Taysom Hill, so they can run as many stupid plays as they want. And now they have a receiver in Taysom Hill too. So, and Mariota can catch, and Derrick Henry cannot catch. So, this offense is. I would love to see this offense play in real life, but sadly, it will never happen. So
I love that and hate that at the same time because I hate that Taysom Hill is a person.
Yes, it works well for this run only team.
It does.
It's fantastic. I'm listing him as a tight end on our spreadsheet.
That's a good idea.
I'm happy with that. This team is going to screw around and have a good time.
All right. Speaking of a team that's going to have a good time, the Commanders. I'm going back to defense, of course, and I'm actually going to pick another player from the defense on the Bengals who had a breakout season last year. I mean, this is a guy you never really looked at as like a top edge rusher, and you probably still wouldn't, but his first 2 seasons, he actually had very respectable numbers considering like how much, I guess, hype you could say around his name. And it was just the year before he didn't really do much. And then this year he came back and he had 7.5 sacks, which is pretty good for which round we're in and how many edge rushers have gone so far. And so I am going with Sam Hubbard.
All right. So for the Vikings, once I drafted Jonathan Taylor, I was pretty much thinking I need to go defense and offensive line for the rest of the draft. and I drafted a receiver before I drafted offensive line. So I'm gonna go with an offensive lineman here. I have a good amount of tackles left that I'm fine with, but I think I'd just rather take one of the more proven vets than one of the younger guys for this team, just because it's a weird offense with Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor. So I'm gonna go with a guy that protected Tom Brady in a Super Bowl, and he also came from Penn State, and that is Donovan Smith. I mean, if you're Tom Brady's left tackle, and Tom Brady has been pretty upright over the last 2 years, he's been kind of an MVP candidate each of the last 2 seasons. I think you're doing something right. So it'll give Lamar more room to run around, and hopefully can open up some lanes for Jonathan Taylor.
Yes. Cleveland Browns. This team also needs a cornerback. I don't know what's with me not drafting corners, but this is going to be kind of a risky pick, and because he's going to be a rookie this year, and he didn't allow a touchdown in all of his professional collegiate career, and it's Sauce Gardner. I don't know. I don't think he could be a cornerback one, but he's going to be a rookie this year, and pairing him with Jeremy Chin back there, I don't know, maybe good things can maybe happen. I don't know. I'm taking a shot on him, you know, over like other cornerbacks that I have in mind, but I'd rather take a shot on him probably. Just because of his prolific college portfolio, which are words I learned about a couple of years ago.
All right.
I'm not that stupid. If people are wondering, if viewers are wondering, I'm not that stupid.
All right. So for the Ravens, all right, yeah, I'm just deciding what I'm doing now. It's a team that still needs some work on offense. The defense is very good, so I'm gonna actually have to go to offense here. I was gonna go defense, but I don't think I should. I think I'm gonna worry about receiver later and get Trey Lance, another offensive lineman alongside Elton Jenkins, and I'm gonna give him a tackle was very promising last year. He kind of looked like a bust after his first year.
You're gonna steal this from me, aren't you?
Probably.
I think you are.
Yeah. Andrew Thomas. Is that
is who it was.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people were ready to call him a bust at the beginning of his career, which, like, as a Saquon fan, I would be one of those people. He's still not a great run blocker, but he was a very good pass protector last year. He only let up like 4 pressure. He was 4th in pressures allowed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think that's what Trey Lance needs as a QB who's only started one game. He's going to need to be able to stay upright and not feel the pressure. And that's going to help him develop and hopefully get the ball out to Eckler and whoever I draft at receiver soon.
All right. So I'm going to have to recover from that. So the Dolphins have a pretty good offense already with, Daniel Jones. I don't know if that would be considered good, but we're going to try and build him up as much as possible. And we're going to try and really go for it with this Dolphins team. They already have a good receiver duo in AJ Brown and T Higgins. You got Rashawn Slater on the offensive line. So I'm going to build on that offensive line as well. The good thing about Rashawn Slater is that he can play right tackle also. So I'm going to slot in a left tackle that, similar to Donovan Smith, has, I think, been pretty proven over his career, and that is Taylor Lewan. He's a cool guy. He's been on. He has his own podcast, so obviously we like him for that. But he's going to be 31 years old. But I mean, it's not like he's like, we already have some pieces on this offensive line, and this offense is pretty stacked already because you got a really good receiver duo. So I go Taylor Lewan. Yeah.
Nice.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm just looking at people. Okay. Another team where I don't have a cornerback, but I'm not going to only take cornerbacks this whole entire draft. So going with someone.
Gift card in my drawer.
Nice. Another young QB here in Mac Jones for the Colts. So I'm going to give him some offensive tackle help. And I don't know how high you guys are on this guy, but I recently just found out that he existed. So I'm gonna I'll just scroll down. Come on. Wait, is it working? It is. Okay. Garrett Bowles of the Broncos.
Good pick.
Apparently he was a second team All-Pro in 2020, so that gives me enough to draft him in this round. And I
Was he?
mean, apparently, yeah.
I didn't know that.
So I mean, yeah, Burrow needs some help, especially on his blind side. So I think Bowles would be perfect for that in the situation we're in right now with how limited offensive tackle help is.
All right. Let's see where. All right, Chargers.
He actually only has one team, Garrett. That's ridiculous. Wait, no, I think
There's
it's easy
one
like that.
T. That's
Yeah, no, one R. Sorry, one R in Garrett.
Oh. All right. Once again, I'm gonna go back to middle linebacker, back on defense, and this is a guy he did suffer a torn ACL 2 years ago. He's getting up there in age. He's 30 now, but every year he wasn't injured, he had 100 or more tackles, except 1 year where he had 92. So he's always around the ball, and he's a veteran now. He knows what he's doing. I don't really have much more to say other than he's always making tackles. He's a great run stopper, and that's CJ Mosley.
You do be old.
Yeah, he's 30, so he's kind
No,
of
that's not terrible, actually.
Yeah, it's not awful, but
Jared's favorite player, Taysom Hill, is 31. In case anyone was wondering.
He bothers me. All right. So the Saints team has 3-3 in terms of offensive and defensive players. We have a really stacked secondary with JC Jackson, Darius Slay, and only have Demario Davis in the front seven. So I'm gonna give them I don't know if he's considered a linebacker or an edge rusher. I don't know if you guys will really know who this is, but he was a first round pick 2 years ago that was like kind of expected to go much later. And he's had a pretty solid start to his career for the Seahawks. That's Jordan Brooks. Yeah,
I don't think I've heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know if a lot of people are going to really know who he is, but I believe he was second in the league in tackles last year. It was like him and Bobby Wagner. Hold on, let me look it up.
I believe he did have a lot.
Yeah, he was second. He had 184, which is a lot. So, I mean, him and Demario Davis to help tackle running backs, I mean, and tight ends, like that should be a pretty solid defense. And you already have a great cornerback duo. So now you have a really good linebacker duo with Jordan Brooks and Demario Davis.
Yay, Demario. I forgot this Eagles team was just offensive heavy, and I drafted 2D tackles, so I'm really screwing this team over right now. So this team obviously needs secondary help, and why not give them their cornerback one for the future in Carlton Davis?
Because I should have drafted him a while ago.
PFF is so high on this guy. They're basically saying no cornerback has forced more completions over the past 3 seasons, and he also led the league in contested targets forced. And I don't know, they're just all over this guy, and PFF. It's hard to trust PFF, but I mean, Carlton Davis he seemed legit on the Bucs Super Bowl roster. Kind of fell off. I think he was injured last year for a good amount of time. Not sure, but I mean,
he was.
Yeah, he's a good cornerback. So put him on the outside in your cornerback one spot, and I mean, it's not perfect, but again, with the options left, it's not a bad way to go, especially when your defense only has 2D tackles. Nice pairing of Fletcher Cox and Jonathan Allen. And they have Carlton Davis.
I like that team a lot, actually.
Really?
I do. Because the Jonathan Allen pick was really good.
Yeah, I should have picked him instead of Javon Kinlaw, but you know what? We're still here. So
we are still
here. Javon Kinlaw. What do I think? I don't really care, actually. I'll get over it.
All right. Steelers still don't have a QB with them. How many teams don't have QBs?
This is the only one.
This is the only one. All right, so I'm gonna not take a QB until the very last round we do. All I wasn't gonna take one anyways, even if there were teams without QBs. I just noticed this guy probably like half an hour before we started recording, and I was kind of surprised he was still available. And maybe I'm just stupid and think he's better than he really is, but he is very young, and he was a top 5 pick, definitely top 10. When was he drafted? Probably 2 or 3 years ago, and that is Quinnen Williams.
He is a guy. He was on the Jets.
He is on the Jets.
All right, so Belichick doesn't like drafting or having good receivers, so I'm gonna stick with that and not draft another receiver for this team. I'm gonna go help out the defense a little more. The only piece in the secondary is Stephon Gilmore, and we have not Matt Judon. Who do we have? Who else do we have? Oh, it's Brian Burns and Rashawn Gary. So I feel like that's a really good edge rusher duo. So I'll help out the secondary a little more. I've had this guy on my list for a while, and I just never did it because I felt like I can get him later at a pretty good value, which is exactly what I'm doing. I hate taking players on this team because I just hate them, but I'm going with Xavier McKinney. Had a really, fell in the draft the year that he was supposed to, or the year that he got drafted, Jesus Christ. But yeah, he really fell. He fell pretty far to the second round. A lot of people wanted Dallas to take them in the first round when they ended up taking CeeDee Lamb. So the fact that the Giants got Xavier McKinney almost like 30 picks after that, it's pretty good. And he's had a pretty solid start to his career. Last year, he was like a very low-key top 10 safety in the league last year. So I think that could be a pretty good pick for Bill Belichick's secondary.
Nice. Okay, Raiders. Okay, this is the last cornerback I'm drafting, but for some reason I just don't like cornerbacks, so I'm drafting another. And it's going to be my second Bucks cornerback in a row, and it's a Jamel Dean. They list him as a cornerback, so I'm going to put him at cornerback. And because apparently he's allowed under 1 yard per coverage when he plays on the outside, so he's now a cornerback. So Jamel Dean.
All right.
I know it's a terrible pick, but
he's a good player.
Yeah. Not bad. Need a cornerback. So
Cardinals, I don't have an offensive lineman yet. Yeah, I have Hurts, Barkley, and Pitts. They're not really going to be able to do anything if they don't have any O-line help. So I'm going to go to a young offensive tackle who's been a part of one of the. You could say it is the best offensive line, but it's definitely top 5. Could even argue top 3, just because of what they've done running the ball. That's pretty much their offense, and which we talked about earlier. They could be a very good team if one particular player plays. So this is an offensive tackle from the Browns, and it's Jedrick Wills Jr.
I have to add the junior.
All right. This is another guy I've had on my list for quite a while now. I think that he is, if he's in the right situation, he has potential to be one of the most dangerous receivers that we've seen in a while. This is the first receiver that's getting drafted since A-Rob. But I feel like the last round, not a whole lot of receivers really went. Like if I'm looking at it right now, it was Brandon Cooks. And then before that, it was Odell. So like we haven't really taken a whole lot of receivers recently. But
I'm the only one who's taking receivers for some reason. But skipping out on corners. So there you
go. It's fine. I mean, yeah, you have like the best set of receivers anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You have like Hill, Hopkins, Jefferson, Adams. Like you have all the good ones. But I think this guy, the team he's on right now, I definitely don't think he has potential to be the great receiver that I thought he could have been out of college. I'm going with Devontae Smith.
the Heisman winner.
Yeah, rightfully so, won a Heisman. I think he only had like 4 touchdowns with Philly last year, just because Jalen Hurts really isn't that much of a gunslinger quarterback. And I mean, it's good for the Eagles that they got a wide receiver 1 in Devontae Smith, but he's such a great route runner, and I think he could be a great deep threat too. I mean, he like thrived in the SEC with Mac Jones as a quarterback. Now he's gonna have Derek Carr. He's also gonna have Deontay Johnson on the other side. So I kind of like that mix of Deontay Johnson and Devontae Smith, both really good route runners for Derek Carr to be able to throw the ball to.
Yes. Okay, so we're disregarding injuries, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so because this player he got injured with an Achilles tear, I think, last year, and he's on the D line because the Bills need D line, and it's Carl Lawson.
Ooh, good pick.
Yeah, if disregarding injuries, I'm taking Carl Lawson, but I think he has the capabilities to be a good edge rusher. I mean, he's proven it in like the past, maybe in 3 years, he's maybe proven it, maybe like 1 or 2 times. But I guess obviously last year held him back because of the Achilles, but he was really good before then. So if we're disregarding injuries, then Carl Lawson is the way to go.
Okay. The Titans, I think I'm gonna take a pick. This is probably gonna be like my first risky pick this draft, but I really like this guy, and he didn't play much last year in his rookie year, but like there is debate on whether he was the best in his position, even with another elite guy in his position that's corner. Like obviously Pat Surtain is elite, or people think he will be next year. I guess it's too early to say, but I think this guy could be up there with him and in the top of the league at corner. He only started in 3 games and he had 1 pick. He defended how many? Let me see. I think 3. It says 1. Okay, never mind. But still, I really like this guy. I think he's going to be one of the best. Not the best in the league, but he's going to be a very good cornerback in this league, and that's J.C. Horn.
Oh, I'm up. That's right. So this Bucks team has George Kittle, Joey Bosa, Creed Humphrey, Baker Mayfield, Garrett Wilson, and Jordan Poyer. I'll help out the defense a little more, and I'm gonna go. This is another guy kind of like similar to Jordan Brooks, who are like he kind of only really broke out last year, and I don't even know how old this guy is. I believe he's still pretty young. Yeah, he's 20. He's gonna be 26 when the season starts. He was drafted in the 3rd round of 2020. Oh, he only played 2 years in this league. He's already 26, which isn't the best sign, but was on a Super Bowl roster last year. That is Logan Wilson on the Cincinnati Bengals. He had 4 interceptions last year, so he could be that, kind of like that Eric Kendricks kind of guy that's roaming the middle of the defense. And I think he could be he's a solid NFL pro so far, and I think that he could be a good fit on this Bucks team that doesn't really have a whole lot of defensive help so far. So, yeah, Logan Wilson.
Well, I'm doing some research really quick. Okay. So this is going to be kind of an odd pick because I'm assuming no one knew this guy existed, but I don't know. I'm talking with you two, so you probably know he exists. The team I doing the Packers, yeah. I need O-line help again. This has been a boring draft for me. I'm just drafting O-line and like corners, but
Yeah, I feel like we all kind of have.
yeah. I don't even know how to pronounce this guy's name, but apparently he was really good last year. He was 6'8", and he ranked 2nd. Again, I don't PFF grades are hard to trust, but he ranked 2nd overall in qualifying left tackles. And it's a Jordan Mailata. I don't even know how to say his last name, but
Yeah,
he apparently was really good last year. So give him, there you go. Dak is protected on the left side now.
I had him down.
Protected on the left side. Don't have to worry about anything. You got a 6'8" man guarding you, so you're good to go.
All right, so I already know what I want to do with my last 2 picks. And with the first one with the 49ers, I'm going to give him defensive line help to go along with Harold Landry. This guy's going to be more on the interior. He's definitely older. How old is he? I feel like I can draft an older guy here just because of how good he is and how good he has been in the past. Yeah, he's 35, but he's been a monster his whole career. And he was even good last year as a run stopper. He's still a very good player despite his age. And that is Calais Campbell. Once again, very old, but still very good. And I'll take that in the 7th round.
All right. This Kansas City team actually, also like the Patriots, don't have a receiver, but they do have Travis Kelce. Last 3 picks have been on the defensive side, so I think I'm good off that for now. So I'll help out young quarterback Justin Fields a little bit. Again, we already have Travis Kelce. We have Zach Martin on the offensive line. I'll give him another offensive weapon, and this could definitely be a risky pick just because he's currently injured. But there is I mean, he probably won't start the season. He probably won't play to start the season, but I think that he definitely will have a good career. And I think there's a chance he's the best corner receiver in this year's draft, and that's Jameson Williams. This team has 2 rookies.
Not bad.
What?
I said that's not bad.
Oh, this team has 2 rookies, which definitely is a risk. But I mean, if this draft ends up proving people wrong, and there are a lot of really good players come from this draft, this team's going to be really good because you have a foundational edge rusher in Kayvon Thibodeau, which if he pans out, again, I definitely drafted him way too early. But you have him with Robert Quinn, which I think is a good duo. Micah Hyde, who's really good at causing turnovers. Fields, we don't know if he's going to really turn out to be all that great, but if he does, he's set up for a good amount of success here with Travis Kelce and a great deep threat in Jameson Williams that he can throw the ball to. And you have obviously one of the best guards in the league in Zach Martin. So this is definitely probably my most risky team that I can either see being one of the worst teams in this, or if all works out, they could be really, really good. I think I've drafted the most rookies. I have Jameson Williams, Hutchinson, and Thibodeau, and
You just have
Garibald.
2 Lions rookies for some reason.
Yes, I do, which is probably not the best move, but I have 4.
Oh, good. Oh, good. Okay, so the Bengals need some middle linebacker help, or just linebacker help, and I think they should get someone who's decent at rushing. And this guy apparently is only good when he's on the Patriots, but he's going to the Bengals, so screw that. It's Kyle Van Noy. He's old, but he's pretty effective run stopper. He's also pretty good in coverage, but I think he's better in coverage. But that just means he can do everything. He can go in coverage. He can stop the run. Like, he's a nice utility guy to have at linebacker. And I know he's old, but hey, Bobby Wagner's old and he's still chugging along. So I know it's hard to compare those two because Bobby Wagner is obviously the better player, but I think Van Noy can do it all. So stick him in the linebacker. Stick him in the middle of the defense. Screw it. Actually, how old is he? He's got to be he's 30 something.
I think he's pretty
31.
young.
31. That's
I
not
thought he was
terrible.
younger.
No. Apparently he's only good on the Patriots, but I know I keep referring to Madden because it is Madden, so he's probably still gonna be fine, even if he's not on the Patriots and on the Bengals. So we'll see. But I think it's good.
Hopefully he's good in real life.
Yes.
For my sake.
Yes, he is on the
Wait, he's on the Chargers now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
I think he's an outside linebacker. Someone's gonna throw an outside linebacker.
Yeah, he's like
he can do everything though. He can play coverage and blitz, but I think he's better in coverage.
Yeah. All right. Last pick of the 7th round. I'm gonna go with the safety, and looking at the safeties, I feel like there's still a lot of good young safeties we haven't really been looking at. And I'm between 2 here, but I think I'm gonna go with the one that is a little more proven and has played 3 years now. In the past 2 years, he's had 2 and 4 interceptions and 9 and 12 passes defended, which is actually the passes defended is actually up there with like guys like Justin Simmons and Kevin Byard. He's a very young athletic guy, and he's already has the numbers to make an argument for a top safety in the league. And that is Darnell Savage.
Yay, Darnell.
All right, so that is the conclusion of round 7. This may have been the most interesting round. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of the players that you guys picked, and this is not like a bad thing, I didn't have. And I wish I did. I wish I had Miles Jack. I wish I had Shaq Thompson. I wish I had, honestly, Sauce Gardner earlier probably would have been a good idea. I wish I had Quinnen Williams. So this is definitely interesting. I like this round, and I like the last round a lot too. But I thought that this was very interesting.
We can definitely do more rounds.
Yeah. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
it kind of gets better every round just because like we don't know what's gonna happen at all.
Yeah, like this, a lot of this surprised me. Garrett Bowles too, and like a lot of the guys that I just said, like I thought of writing down at one point, and I was just, and then either they left my mind or I was just like, nah, I'll let someone else just take them. But
Yep.
yeah, I mean, all these players are still like, I think they're all good. Like I don't think that there's really one bad pick this round at all.
Yeah, I don't think there were no bad players taken, and there were no like they weren't bad or they were like young and have a lot of potential, which like is
Yeah,
7th round, you'll take that.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we can definitely do. Well, it was already planned we were gonna do definitely one more. I think we can get to. I mean, I have probably about like 15 for defense. And no,
I didn't get through as many players as I thought I would today.
Yeah, I didn't either. I have about maybe like 12 for offense and 12 for defense. Because now quarterbacks, I literally just erased all of them. I don't need any.
Yeah, I'm about the same on both, like around like 12 to 15 on each side.
Yeah, and I can definitely add more.
Yeah. Well, I
For sure.
have a lot of receivers written down, but like a lot, like most of them I won't even consider taking. Like I wrote down like who did I wrote down like Juju, like Laviska Shenault.
Visca.
Yeah.
What a man. What a name.
We had a little foreshadowing in the beginning of the episode because Chase Claypool did not get drafted in this, and I have one, and I was the only one who drafted receivers in this round.
Yeah. I think I only
Which-
drafted 3 positions.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
I took tackle, edge, D tackle. Actually, I took like 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I took 4.
yeah, I was
whatever.
still kind of like all over the place, but I don't know. I kind of feel pretty good about most of my picks. I mean, yeah, it was definitely interesting. It was definitely probably the round most that didn't really make sense, but it was like the most least like
Predictable.
heavy. Yeah, well, definitely least predictable, but like least like heavy set on receivers and
Like,
running
skill
backs.
position player. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word, but like you look at like round 5, like we have Odell, we have Aaron Jones, Mixon, Brandon Cooks, like that. The only ones we had in this round were Devontae Smith and Jameson Williams, and one of them we have no, probably won't even start the whole season. Oh, and Taysom Hill, if you want to
Yeah,
consider
Taysom
that.
Hill.
I don't
Best
know.
run team in the game.
Well, that's for sure. I don't know if you consider him a skill position player. I don't really.
He
I
can
guess
play
you
it.
do.
He can be a skill
Can.
position if he
Yeah,
wants to.
I guess you do. But yeah, that concludes round 7. Definitely an interesting round. I think round 8 potential to be a lot more interesting. Again, we are going to be taking. You're gone for 2 weeks, right?
I come back July 15th.
July 15th. Damn, that's a long ass vacation.
Mhm.
So
So
yeah,
much
once James gets back and once like he gets work schedule and all that stuff figured out, that is when we will continue this. It's been great. Obviously we're not done, but I'm just saying I've really enjoyed this. This has been my favorite thing that we've done as a podcast so far.
Yes, I agree. This is fun.
Yeah. So yeah, once you catch us next week, we have not figured everything out yet at all, but we're probably gonna go back to recording on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, which is where you can find us, the Route Runners podcast. And again, it's either going to be division previews or fantasy, or maybe a little bit of both, because we definitely want James's input on probably both of those topics. So we may do just a little bit of each.
Yeah.
So obviously we will see. We'll see how all of our schedules work out. But yeah, does anyone else have anything else to say?
If when we put this in Madden, you should fire Pete Carroll from my Seahawks team.
I can do that.
Okay, good. And because
I'll
he would
hire
never,
Pete Peril.
yeah, because he would just make Mariota throw the ball 40 times a game. Not
Oh yeah,
happening.
we also have to figure out how we're going to like, because Jason was talking
rookies?
about like when we put in all the teams in Madden, like we want the rest of the players on the team on the like, because we're not going to be drafting all 53 rounds.
Yeah.
Like all the other players to kind of be even, so it's kind of just like who made the best picks and not like
Yeah. I can
Madden
just like
putting in other people.
Probably a
can just-
roster you can download. I don't know.
I was looking, I didn't see one, but like we're gonna have a lot of time in between the next time we do this. So I can just like change players to like 70 overall.
That's gonna take
So
a long time though.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, I'll see. I'll see if there's a better way, but
yeah. We're also not
because
like
I only have to change like the starters too. Like
Yeah.
the guys who start that aren't, because we're gonna
Oh, and
have
just
like
turn
half
injuries
the
off?
team. Yeah, I'll turn injuries off. But like we're gonna have half the starting lineup filled. So like
true.
it's
Yeah,
not
that
too bad.
yeah. I mean, if you want to do that,
Realistically, for everyone else, just lower their speed and then they'll become like a 40 overall.
yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't play Madden anymore, so I can't really put on that. But I think once we are done, whether we do 8, 9, maybe even up to 10, I'm gonna say 9 for now. That's probably my guess, but I don't know. We'll definitely do like some sort of special episode where we'll like live stream a simulation of like 10 years or 5 or something, and we can see how many Super Bowls each of our teams get, if or whatever, which I think would be fun. I don't really
The
know how
only
we can.
problem with that is like I think the most you can do like contract is like 5 years, and then there's like rookies and that could add in. So
True. Yeah. All right. So we'll
We'll play
figure
it
it
year
out.
by
well,
year
yeah,
by
we can,
year.
yeah, we'd have to do that.
We can just like sim to like the playoffs and the off season.
Or what you can do is like we can do like maybe 3 and then stop it, and then like if you can save the roster somehow and then input them in another one, you could just do another 3-year simulation or something like that.
Yeah, or yeah, because I was gonna trying to think, because like obviously some of us are picked like younger players, so we picked them like thinking they would develop. So like it wouldn't make sense to like the same roster, like but just change the, you know what I mean? Like do it 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like we're just drafting for Madden. Like I'm drafting
Yeah.
like if I was an actual like,
Well,
which I
yeah,
believe
yeah.
all
Some of
us
my
are doing.
teams I'm drafting like I'm a real GM. The Seahawks I would never draft like that, but you never know.
Well, yeah, I mean, even so, like if it's just like a thing for fun like this, and like with you guys, you have 10 other teams that you can do whatever. Like I don't think drafting a Seahawks team like that is a bad idea, just to have fun with it and experiment.
I mean, the Jaguars team I'm taking serious. Like I think the other teams I'm taking seriously. Oh, besides the Bills, but like the
Yeah,
other
I
teams
mean,
I'm
if
taking seriously.
I probably would never draft the way I did the Texans, starting with 4 defensive players. I don't think I'd ever really do that either.
I drafted 4 offensive for the Eagles, but I think they're all good. So, well,
Yeah.
all the defensive guys for you are probably all good too. But,
All right, so again, you can find us on Instagram at Route Runners Pod. Yeah, TikTok Route Runners Podcast. Anything else? I think
I have to poop.
that. But yeah, all right. So thank you guys for listening. We hope you really enjoyed it. Let us know down below what picks you maybe liked, didn't like, and we hope that you guys enjoy. And we will be back doing this in about 3 weeks. I don't really know. I'm bad with time like that.
I don't even
but
know what.
yeah.
I'm gonna see what day the 15th even is. It's a Friday. So just
Okay,
try the
so
3
Tuesday
weeks
after.
from Friday is when you get back.
Yeah, so the Tuesday after probably.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good.
or Monday or whatever day works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we had to do it this week on a Wednesday just because of we usually have done it on Mondays, but we had some schedule problems, but it doesn't matter. All right. So again, let us know what you guys thought about it, not think, and hope you enjoyed.
Yes.